Alpha open. Good morning, everybody. This is Justice's Waiting Room. This is a daily live podcast where we discuss news and politics. Sorry I'm late. I was sitting around pushing buttons instead of talking to you. Sorry. I'm kind of waffling just to get it out there. I'm kind of waffling on whether or not I actually think this fight is a ruse. Here's why. Here's why. I just want to throw this out there. Elon Musk has lost $49 billion for pissing off Donald Trump. I don't know that that's worth it, if you get what I'm saying. I don't know. I don't know. A lot of people are like, he was just trying to save face. Yeah? Do you think it's working? You don't think it's working, do you? Okay. So listen, uh, they arrested a ICE ICE yesterday, arrested a U.S. Marshal. I'll be the one to say it. There's going to be a mass casualty situation involving ICE agents, all getting unalived. hmm I could see that coming because they're just. Here's another thing I heard that goes along with this point. So ICE was in this neighborhood, and the person called the police and said, "There are a bunch of white men in battle armor with rifles walking around my neighborhood pretending to be ICE." And they sent the SWAT team, and ICE ran away. So again, I just want to throw it out there early. I don't know how I feel about calling this a ruse. It costs too much money. Now, if Donald J. Trump woke up one day and decided he didn't need Elon Musk anymore, it's a different story. Okay. Yeah, things got crazy in LA. And hey, and that's exactly what we expect because we live and die in LA, right? So absolutely, we saw it kick off in Minnesota, white folks, and then LA, absolutely, the city of angels, never gonna let you down. No. Hey, I wake up every day in a good mood because I'm not on the wrong side of history. It's that simple. I see people around me freaking the fuck out all the time. Who'd you vote for? What's wrong? Why are you panicking? What'd you do? Did you do something wrong? Sucks, doesn't it? Sucks to have to live with having voted for Donald Trump. Good. I'm good. I feel good. Yesterday, I took the day off, went to the veterans protest. I did make a video. I didn't put it on the internet because I don't clout chase. I will probably post it in the Discord. It's just a video of me walking through the protest area. I got there, it was supposed to start at fucking noon, and I got there wasn't hardly anyone there. In fact, I got there, someone was supposed to speak, somebody in an Air Force uniform, and I listened to them do their speech and to a crowd of no one, and then I just was like, well, I'm not gonna wait for a crowd to amass. I'm here in protest. And then I stared down a police officer that was rubbernecking. I just walked directly at him until he moved. And then one of the event coordinators came over there and was like, "We have a permit and shit." And he was like, "No, I was just observing." It's just like, you skinny necked fuck. Nothing makes me get heated more than like unnecessary police presence. Like my entire family is law enforcement, and you know what's funny? Not them. It's not them. They're at home being grandpa and dads. You know what I mean? And they ain't these people. A lot of people say it is the police. Yeah, in some cases the police are aiding ICE. Um, I think if we're going to talk about protest, why? Well, I don't know about you, but one of the main reasons I protest is because of I protest for people like Kilmar Abrego Garcia, who is returned, is to be returned to the United States. Justice will prevail after all. Um, he will be tried on some bullshit, and he will be exonerated from that. Remember what I told you. This is a war of attrition. This is a matter of shock and awe. It's not about results. If they wanted to fucking deport people, they'd have them lined up outside courthouses and they'd be highlighting the strength of due process and saying, look at what happens when you use the legal system. And instead, uh, they arrested, um, was it a mayor? Yeah, guy talk about how they're not coming to East LA, said ICE is a bunch of pussies. Yeah. hmm I'll put it like this. They got ICE on college campuses, and I got eyes and ears all over this city that ain't seen ICE. They ain't coming to the city. They'll do it in a little college town where these kids are from all over the country and they don't hardly know each other, right? That's how they're getting away with that shit on college campuses. Just facts. Like, they ain't coming to Indy. I seen them in Bloomington. I seen their, mhm. You're gonna have to develop a stiff upper lip with this regime. You know, you're gonna have to get used to them coming around trying to smack you around. But yeah, I think we I don't know if you read Pavlovich. Yeah. And keep in mind, we've thought this the whole time. My 4 a.m. club, I was up at 4 a.m. again today. Just know, here's Donald Trump opening his mouth and inserting his foot. Remember, so how does Donald Trump know that he won 7 swing states? Because the media told him he won 7 swing states. So here he is calling out fake news, saying I won 7 swing states. Don, how'd you hear you won 7 swing states? Oh, the news told you? So is it true or not? Here's ICE having a real hard time in LA. Oh, you know what I saw a story about that it's like, hey, they'll make a movie out of that shit. Did y'all hear about okay, okay, stay with me. Uh it was like a dozen ICE agents and their cargo, their captor, their captives stuck in a shipping container. Did you guys hear about that? Like I think signs that shit is going to fall apart on you. This would be ICE getting run out of LA. And yeah. And ICE getting trapped in a shipping container with captives. Sitting on a yeah, sitting on a dock somewhere. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I saw it last night. A bunch of people got trapped in a shipping container. It was a bunch of deportees, I guess, as a captives, as kidnapping victims, got stuck in Djibouti. Jesus, Angie. That starts with a D, by the way. Starts with DJ. I just want to point out, by the way, they're trying to charge Kilmar Abrego Garcia with trafficking, transporting undocumented migrants within the U.S. See, this is the kind of shit right here. You cannot pay me. You cannot pay me to live in Texas. I'm gonna read this headline and you tell me if you're packing your shit up. Texas woman dies from brain-eating amoeba after cleaning sinuses with tap water. Woman contracted a fatal infection caused by a brain-eating amoeba and died 8 days after developing symptoms. Treated for primary amoebic this word meningoencephalitis. Meningoencephalitis. Oh, okay. Experienced seizures, died 8 days later. Damn. Usually occurs after recreational water activities. Also noted, cleaning the sinuses with non-distilled water is also a risk factor. No shit. Hey, remember how I tell you every hey, Ange, remember how I tell you every day, hey, you need to get 8 hours of sleep. You probably need to take a fucking nap. Okay? You gotta hydrate, aka make sure that you have a clean, consistent water supply. And if you don't, you need to fucking fix that. Stat. One of the things you don't want to be doing is drinking water that's been sitting still. You also don't want to drink water that hasn't been purified. You should probably look into collecting your own fucking rainwater and purifying your own water sources. Yes. Yes. Hey, it's not like we haven't had long form conversations about how to build water collection devices. It's not like we haven't talked about this. None of you should be shocked at all. I know that it might be like one of the things where you're like, damn, that dude was right. Hey, they poisoned the water hole. A little bit of Toy Story there for you. Hi, Alana. On Clapper. Clean your water. Right? People are fucking stupid. S&M. George Carlin was right. Half of all people are stupid. The other half are even stupider. I just want to I just want to make sure that I show you. Here's a picture of Joe Rogan in disbelief when Kash Patel, who is the director of the FBI, was recently on Joe Rogan's podcast, and he told Joe Rogan that Epstein killed himself. That is the second time that Kash Patel has gone on live TV or onto a live show and said that Epstein killed himself. Hey, telling the same lie over and over again does not make it the truth. Yeah, believe that. Okay? Russia and Ukraine are going at it. Moscow strikes Ukraine. Drones hit Russian air bases, oil depot, and missile plant. Russia bombards Kiev. Go back and forth. Hey, by the way, look, here's something that's notable. Russia killed at least 125 journalists during their full-scale invasion of Ukraine. You know why? You know why? The reason the reason they're killing journalists is because Russia's getting their ass kicked. They're invading and losing. hmm Slava Ukraine. Now, a lot of people are sitting around wondering like what could we be doing with our time? It's easy to start. It's go on your cell phone, delete Facebook, Threads, IG, WhatsApp, Twitter. Stop giving away so much of you for free. It's the thing. And that's not in the capitalist sense, but like you are the product on social media. You understand? You when you go on Facebook and you opine and you post pictures, you are the product. The problem is that you do not get paid to do that. And I have a degree in social media, so I should be posting on social media for fun. No, actually, if it's not bringing you ins, it is you are putting money in someone else's pocket. And I'm an anti-capitalist. So I don't want the people who are trying to control me to have more power. And so I'm not gonna post on Facebook or Threads or IG because fuck Mark Zuckerberg or WhatsApp or Messenger and fuck Elon Musk too. So I want to make sure we say on this program, what you do in this life echoes for an eternity. So if Elon Musk, for example, decides to turn away from his evil ways and go back to the Democratic Party, I hope he is rejected there. I hope he is rejected there. If he is embraced there, that is a mistake that Democrats make. Doing whatever you can do to win when it involves getting in bed with traitors is not good for your brand. So to all these Democrats that are like, yes, let's embrace Elon Musk. He gave two Nazi salutes. He interfered in multiple elections. He's like the worst. How the fuck he got 14 kids, you only ever seen him with one? How he got like four baby mamas, you only never see him with any of them? He is the world's most detestable human being. Yeah, Bongino lied on TV with Cash Patel about Epstein killing himself. Hey, guess what? If if Epstein had actually killed himself, guess what you wouldn't be doing if you worked for the FBI? That's right, sitting on television saying Epstein killed himself. The fuck he did. But I don't, yeah, yeah. And yeah, I think here's the thing. Donald Trump donated like $35 million over the course of his lifetime to the Democratic Party, including putting money on Hillary Clinton and Kamala Harris before he turned on them because they wouldn't embrace him because he's a racist and a sexist, right? And a rapist, by the way. I'm gonna make sure we say that pretty often. Donald Trump's a rapist. Um, and he turned on the Democratic Party because they wouldn't acknowledge him. And here we are. Um, and I don't want someone giving Nazi salutes to represent the middle left in the United States. If Elon Musk is able to turn and just become a Democrat, start helping the Democrats, it's a terrible mistake by the Democrats. He should just do that stuff and not expect to be embraced. And he can't run for political office. So the only thing that he's doing is kissing up to these elected officials to keep his government contracts. For the record, if I were president, that would be one of the first things I do is cancel all his contracts and jail him. Take him into custody, deliver him to the ICC, let them deal with him. That's why he's always running around with his kid, with one child. I don't know who Kim Iverson is, but she called Ben Shapiro a traitor, and I'm on it. Yeah, I did, and I was like, what the fuck is that? This is what you like to see from Reuters right here. The rest of the world's fully capable of fighting Russia without the United States. And this is where my head was going. The rest of Gaza and Israel should just booby trap their houses. And this shit keeps up in the United States, and I'll start spreading that message about Americans need to booby trap, especially if you think ICE might be targeting you. Booby trap yourself, booby trap your house. Become sticky is what they call it in the Marine Corps. But I had a feeling that's where Gaza was headed as they cornered and corralled people and surrounded them. What are they gonna do? The president of California's largest union was detained in an ICE raid. Here's the story from the LA Times. I think I shared this with my chat earlier. Yeah, the video is rough. David Huerta, 58. Here's a former Doge engineer saying federal waste and fraud were relatively non-existent. As someone who helped people with the people that have Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, I did that for 5 years. 4 years, sorry, don't want to oversell it. Um, you can't commit fraud in those um areas. It's so difficult and it's such a pain in the ass. Like, who the fuck would want to defraud like a complicated system with shit is just garbage, right? It is true. Donald Trump is disappearing people. They got measles in Ontario, so thanks a lot, America. Measles is international. Oh, how did the world end? Uh, measles, actually. And remember, Russia wants people like Donald Trump and Elon Musk fighting, right? This is what Russia wants. By the way, we get unbanned on TikTok tomorrow. Not that we haven't enjoyed Clapper. It's not as active as far as comments go, but we still end up with viewers. And a lot of people, I'm sure, harbor some ill will towards me over how slow I've moved regarding the starting of the American Socialist Party. But I just want to point out how they take, yeah, because my whole life, I mean, I literally, when I was in high school, kids didn't really like me because I was a journalist. I read the news before school. So obviously, when you're me and you're awesome, oh, I was doing fantastic shit. My uh-uh classmates couldn't handle it. They didn't like seeing their name and their face on the fucking news. Nuh-uh, they didn't want to hear that shit. Yeah, big armored vehicles getting run out of LA. That's what I see. That's what I see. Hey, it's an interesting little document with the time frames of the election. People ask, Jared, why do you support the LGBTQIA plus community? Why does that matter to you? You're none of those things. Because a few days ago, teenagers threw acid onto a trans woman as she was celebrating Pride. Um, and that shit is taught. It's learned behavior. Hmm. Pakistani man convicted of supplying Iranian weapons to Houthis. And remember, Russia put bounties on American soldiers. So the fact that they convicted a Pakistani man, Pakistan, Afghanistan, convicted of supplying Iranian weapons to Houthis. Yeah, baby. They were getting banned left and right. I saw someone where ICE, HSI had parked their cars blocking him and he had to get assistance leaving. Jesus. Feels like we are the reality TV for an alien race on another planet somewhere. SNL couldn't make this shit up, right? No, the thing that you've got to realize, like, when you see stuff happening in Israel, they're doing it there because no one's going to stop them. And the cruelty that they're able to get away with in Gaza, free Palestine, they transport that here. And then they try it out on Americans. And then if you can get away with it in Gaza, and you can get away with that cruelty on American soil, it's over. There's a reason since I've come home, I used to be so pro police, and I still have to fight myself because that's like my how I grew up. I wasn't in law enforcement. I worked armed and unarmed security for over a decade in Indianapolis, and that means I worked with the feds and the fucking police constantly. And over the years, I have just realized as a grown person, and I realized that when I was working security, I didn't need a firearm. What the fuck am I gonna do with a pistol? It's no good. It's no good. The reality is, it's like you need nothing and you need missiles. There's a thing, right? There's a thing out here we have. It's called missiles. Yeah, we don't need guns. And I worked armed security at large events with lots of people. And a gun didn't never do me no good. Not a single time. And I worked with the feds and fucking cops, and they're armed to the teeth. And I'm telling them boys, go put that shit in your car before you get it stolen off you and get brained by your own shit. You're going to be within arm's reach of hundreds, if not thousands of people. And you think walking around all pistoled up and shit and tasered up and shock band, whatever the fuck those sticks are called. I was the guy going like, if y'all need that shit, you're at the wrong place. Why don't you go stand outside and let me go in here and work, right? Because you'd be like in an indoor venue like the Murat in Indianapolis. Okay, it's like a theater. Okay, and cops want to walk in there with fucking pistols. Dude, everybody's standing nut to fucking butt in a compact, small ass room, and you're gonna bring a firework launcher into that group of people. What are you gonna do with it? Nothing. Go put that shit in your car. You don't need that shit. Yeah, that was the video I posted, Angie, was that white van. Remember, as I've said before, if you wonder where are all our heroes, where are all the great American heroes that are gonna come save us? They're in Ukraine, fighting on the front lines. If you really want to know where are the best of us? Ukraine. Yeah, if I didn't have mountains and mountains of fucking bills and I was in way better physical condition. I think we've talked about this before. We are becoming increasingly aware that Iran is enriching um, uranium at a high rate, and the belief is they're going to produce nuclear weapons. And I just want to talk about people are shouting, we don't have weapons, but you do, yeah. And I've said it before, and I'll say it the fuck again. If you are a woman or a person of color, protect yourself. Mhm. I would not recommend a pistol. The number one reason why that I do not recommend someone who feels the need to protect themselves get a pistol is because of this. Is because of how easy it is to do this. It's that simple. It's that simple. Everybody wants to make it some other shit. Unless it's so goddamn heavy you can't lift it and pull the trigger at your temple, I don't think you need a pistol. I think you need a long weapon. Something like a shotgun. Yeah. And you need to get comfortable shooting a shotgun. And you need to protect yourself, defend yourself. hmm Especially if you're a person of color. Yep. You might need to buy a gas mask. Yep. And remember what I've told everyone, you got to exercise, you got to stretch your legs, you got to go for a run, okay? I'm not going to sell you suicide. You know what I mean? I'm not going to sell you the path to that. It's not never happening. I've I've done too much research, done too many research projects, and I've been screaming it from the top of my fucking lungs. I would be anti-gun, anti-gun, if it weren't for everyone that don't look like me is in grave danger. And it's kind of fucking ignorant. It is ignorant to not change yourself because you've become cognizant of your environment. And again, typically I would be spitting anti-gun shit. But because everyone that doesn't look like me is in grave danger. The Department of Justice website documents violence. And I don't know if they're still doing that. But I've been right year over year over time. 57%, which in my eyes is 60% of the time every time. Okay? Two-thirds of all gun deaths are self-inflicted. And when you look at the weapon used in self-inflicted gun deaths, pistols are used like 4 out of every 5 unalivings, suicides. I don't know about you, but now that you know, hey, if I just decide to get up and I'm carrying all the time, what is the most likely thing? You're going to brain yourself. That's the most likely thing to happen. So there's a reason that I say just forget about it. Forget about a pistol. That ain't doing you no goddamn good. This is not The Walking Dead. You get what I'm saying? You need something that you can miss high, low, left, right, and still hit. Because for most of you have not spent your whole life, right? You haven't spent your whole life around firearms, right? Most of you have not done that. You would be more well suited shooting a shotgun in short to medium range, and then you need to learn how to shoot a rifle and find your rifle. And again, that's not an M-rated weapon. Notice I don't say you need an M16 AR-15 style weapon. You don't. You don't. You do not need anything that you could be convinced would be better full auto. Okay? In video games, they call them DMRs and repeaters is what they call them. DMRs and repeaters. Single shot rifles that shoot bigger than uh Probably 223 to be able to shoot at distance. But yeah, time to get a Mossberg or whatever, Winchester. I don't care. There was a time where it was like let yourself get arrested, let it play out. Here's the EU backing the International Criminal Court. Did I hear Donald Trump is making machine guns legal? Did what? I mean, yeah, it has to do with the trigger system. And there, hey, there's a reason I just sat here and said, and you've never seen me say, go out and get you a an M-rated weapon or an AR-15. Why? Because the problem with highly modifiable weapons, you hear what I said? Highly modifiable weapons. They have a system on them, a rail system, that you could put a light and a scope and a tripod and you know what I mean? You can attach, there's attachments that go on a weapon. Do you need all that shit? No. But what they did, it has a lot to do with the trigger system. Forced reset trigger. This means when you pull the trigger, it automatically takes the empty shell casing out, spits that out, puts a new round in, and you're at the ready position again with a trigger pull. Those force reset triggers, for the record, you ain't using that on a pistol anyway. You wouldn't be able to aim it. So the fact that they're making them legal just means you could put a force reset trigger on an M-rated weapon or an AR-15, and I'm telling you, I have more time with those weapons than anyone you know, and I can sit here and tell you, like, not only those people are fucking nauseating, but I was on active duty during a time of war on those ranges and annoyed, annoyed. We have 50 cals. We have a 240 Golf. Sorry. We have a Mark 19. What the fuck do we need this stupid single shot M-rated AR-15? Whatever. And then what did the guys talk about all the time? Malat. You could change out the trigger and just one trigger pull empty the whole 33 round mag. And you're just like, no, no. Angie said the ICC is going to come after Donnie for the Afghanistan withdrawal. Good. They will back the ICC more. It's good. Good. That's good news. He said there are no rules anymore. Yeah, May 20th, as of May 20th. Yeah. They made silencers legal, bump stocks, the ban on bump stocks got lifted, and the triggers. And the thing about it is, if you need more rounds per second, it's because you are not a good shot and you are going to try to kill a lot of people. And if you know people like that, if you know people that are fucking gun nuts, but they're not just gun nuts, but if you know gun nuts that are now talking silencers, bump stocks, and fucking force reset triggers. Um, yep. And they want the thing about it is don't pull back too far. You'll get overwhelmed. You'll get overwhelmed looking at the whole planet and being like, "Oh my God, look at all this awful shit that's going on." Hold the fucking phone. Don't get overwhelmed, okay? And I just want to point out, as a Marine infantryman, pistol qual, rifle qual, these were not even main weapons. These are not main weapons. I was in weapons company. We're in a modern war. I was in a fucking up armored Humvee with a fucking, well, I was going to be in an up armored Humvee. As it turns out, I never sat in one. I was going to be in a up armored Humvee with a tow gun on it, a tow missile on it, which also either probably carries or either it carries a 240 Golf, which again is a fully automatic 7.62. Like what the fuck? Yeah, I know. So think about have to rifle and pistol qual every year. Those aren't even the main guns. The main gun is that fucking tow missile. The co-main is that 240 Golf. Yes, we all have ARs and pistols, and I carried a shotgun with a sledge with concrete rounds in it, and had a um not a sapper's kit. That's what they were probably called in World War II. But I had a like a little bag of goodies in my backpack. Like I always tell people, like, yeah, you gotta like rifle and pistol qual, but even on active duty in the Marine Corps infantry, those things aren't even relevant to the fight. And now in the United States, you got motherfuckers are straight up obsessed. I seen a dude on camera the other day walking around with a 1911. That's a big bitch. Just hanging off his fucking hip. And yeah, it was with his kids. And all I could think is that kid's gonna brain themselves. And think about it, that motherfucker has kids and carries a pistol. They didn't even show up to defend their side name. Jesus. Hey, Texas. Guess who lives in Texas and is gonna fuck Texas up? Oh, look at that. I love how you can see this over here. That right there. I want to share with you an organization that is near and dear to my heart. Allison, that's fucking crazy. Do you know how heavy a deagle is? And when you fire it, how much kick there is? You can't put you can't put two rounds on the same hole in a timely fashion. And I'm a man. I'm a grown ass man who has spent tons of time with a firearm in my hand in my life. And a deagle is stupid. Like when you shoot a gun, even if you're strong, there's this. No, you're losing that fight. And for the record, don't single arm any weapon ever. So stupid. So unbelievably dumb. Hmm. Oh, by the way, m many men say that they have friends, but do you have kids that you coached that know that you're a disabled veteran and you can't really reach over your head? And so they reach out to you and say, "Hey, coach, do you need your gutters cleaned?" I know that you can't really reach up above your head. You want me to come over? Them's the good kids. But yeah, they're turning on each other. Hey, like I said, I came in here this morning and I said, listen, a lot of people are calling the feud between Donald Trump and Elon Musk a ruse. And I made a piece of content yesterday where I was like, it's a ruse. I don't actually think it's a ruse. I think it's cost Elon $49 billion dollars and counting. What is going on in my throat? Or holy shit. I shaved. I had to shave my face yesterday. Sorry. As you can see. But there are people that are like, Jared, I'll never touch a firearm. We're just gonna have to protest, boycott, and strike our way through this. How do we do that? That's not what I wanted to show you. NAFOOFAN.org. I shared the wrong link earlier. It's NAFOOFAN, North Atlantic Fellow Organization. I want this sweatshirt that says "Make Russia Small Again." Yeah, yeah. Donald Trump took away an EV uh, tax rebate of like $7,000. That was literally the reason to buy an EV, right? I like this. I like this. Here's an activist saying we're not violent, but we're not non-violent. You understand? Life, life is violent. If you have been sold something else, I am so sorry. Dina said I can make that for you. Hey, you want to make me stuff and send me stuff? Make me all that stuff. They're like supporting Nafo OFAN. I like this sweatshirt too. Look at this. Expansion is non-negotiable. And the money that you donate to NAFO is used to help repel Russian invaders. So a lot of people are like, Jared, how can I directly impact the Ukraine versus Russian war versus Russia war? You could donate your money to NAFO OFAN. hmm North Atlantic Fellow Organization. They literally that money gets donated to the people fighting on the front lines in Ukraine. They are fucking hated. Double XL. And know that no serious political candidate, that somebody that is actually going to work for you, gives a shit about Israel. Israel is a fucking rogue nation state bent on genocide as a means of clearing out Gaza so that Donald Trump can build a resort using slave labor, and the US has an interest in the Middle East now and would have to build a military base. That this is the reason. And Donald Trump's gonna try to position his resort right next to this military base so that it has to be used. No, I need to get one. I just have to give you my address. Are you in the? I only think there's like 16 people in here. Dina, I wish I could send you a PM. Are you in the Discord, Dina? But yeah, when you're watching people debate and they're talking at length about how much they give a shit about Israel, I don't give a shit about Israel. That's how it should be. By the way, here's the UN Human Rights Chief condemning the US's use of sanctions on ICC judges. Okay, I'll just put my address in there in the Discord. By the way, if you're not part of the Discord, let me still throw an invite out there. This is when invite people. Use an invite to Discord if you're not in there. Try to moderate who joins. Keep it tight. Said Mama D. Yeah, I see you. Okay. I'm actually cold, so yeah, I like hoodies. I like zip up hoodies. Because I have a furnace that also runs the air at the same, can run it at the same time. You can zone my house, so I could be like hot in one room, cold in another, which is wild. It's just that's the time frame we live in. All right. So don't be surprised if Taiwan catches some heat. Taiwan and Guatemala have signed deals on ship cooperation. Sorry, I had to itch my foot. Whew. Randomly, just the top of my foot itched like a motherfucker. Okay. Yeah, but here's the thing, in order to codify or change the Constitution, you have to have a constitutional convention in order to do that. So I get it, everybody's all up in arms and shit, but that's not how it works. And also you have to have massive approval to get this bill passed, and it's not gonna pass. All of those line items that aren't monetary will be negotiated. Again, it's not about results, it's about shock and awe. Just exactly what I told you. God damn it. The recession package would likely only be a fraction of the cuts. Okay? When you hear 19 and $26 million, $26 billion, that's nothing. I just want to point this out. This rescissions package that everybody's all up in fucking arms about, it only recommends about $15 billion in cuts. We were talking about 800 billion. We were talking about 500 billion from Medicare. Do you see how it's like you got to read the whole thing? You can't just read the headline. You can't just read part of it. You got to read the whole fucking thing. Imagine wasting your fucking time making a fucking piece of content about the resistance package. It's so fucking stupid. Yeah, the rescissions package is only recommending $15 billion in cuts. And historically, since 1974, presidents have recommended like $100 billion in cuts, and only $25 billion in cuts have been made. So the likelihood of them even getting all 15 billion is not very good. He'll probably get 8 or 9. And remember, I just got done telling you, a former Doge engineer said there wasn't fraud and waste in the government. They're actually, so I get it. Everybody's like, oh, they're gonna codify $15 billion in cuts in those rescission packages. That's nothing. That's a drop in the bucket comparatively. Remember, I'm a data analyst. I analyze the data and I go $500 million to $800 billion in cuts in two social safety net programs. That's the program. But recommending like a $15 billion cut, knowing you're not getting but half of that at best, is piss money. People are freaking the fuck out over piss money. The link's in the chat. You can read what's in the rescission package. I want you to be scared, but I want you to be scared about the right shit. Otherwise, you just come out looking stupid. When people sit around and they're like, Donald Trump and Elon Musk fighting is a distraction. We should be focused on the rescission package. You look like a fucking idiot. You look like an idiot. Because Elon Musk has lost $50 billion in the 24 to 48 hours since he started this shit. And this rescission package is talking about cutting $15 billion. That's nothing. It's nothing. Codify what? Codify what? Come on. Like, I want you to be pissed. I just want you to be pissed about the right shit. Be pissed that people are being fucking disappeared. Be pissed that the LGBTQIA plus community is constantly under attack. Be pissed that people of color are constantly under attack. Be pissed that women are constantly held to a different standard, whose voices aren't respected. And people are getting their panties in the wad. It's just not that way. Mm-hmm. 9:13. When did she post that? Yeah, 2 minutes ago. Yeah, when I posted to chat. Yeah. So I get it. I get it. I want you to be realistic about some shit. Here's the shit you got to be looking at. Here's a Supreme Court restoring Doge's access to sensitive social security data and says it doesn't have to turn over documents. That's something to be pissed about. I'd be pissed about this too. Proud Boys are trying to get $100 million. Interesting. Planet warming emissions dropped when companies had to report them. EPA wants to end that. Here's Palantir uh, collecting disease data at the CDC, stirring privacy concerns. Be pissed about that. Like I said, I want you to be upset, but I want you to be upset about the right shit. And I want you to protest. I want you to stop being the product. Stop posting on Facebook, Threads, IG, Messenger. Get rid of all those meta tools. Get rid of WhatsApp. Stop doom scrolling Twitter. Once you stop, it's so freeing. Do you know how freeing it is to be able to just like live my life and not feel the need to either constantly be unhappy about mine because I'm looking at other people's constant lives, or posting my life constantly to the internet for what? For what? Nothing. You're not making money. So the thing about it is, if we're gonna support hyper capitalist accelerationist technocracy, right? Might as well just get a pistol, get it over with. Okay. So we gotta refocus. That's what I want to do this weekend. I'll be pissed about this. I'm pissed here. Yeah. S&M, absolutely, dude. Never felt more free. Yeah. And the thing about Facebook is, look, listen, I've been social medias my entire life. ICQ, Yahoo Chat, AIM, all that shit. I was master plans back in the day on AIM. Okay. Uh, MySpace, I did all that shit. Okay. I was there for the beginning of Facebook. I even got a degree in social media. Stay off that shit. It's fucking terrible. It's awful. Hmm. Yep. You know how I've said we have seen too much, heard too much, all that shit? It's because of social media. You don't need to see it. You don't need to see it. Good, ladies. Good. I'm glad to see that I'm not the only one. That I'm not here singing to the fucking void and y'all are still sucking in all that negativity. It's toxic as fuck. Like you deserve better than that, you know? That's why I'm here every day. So I don't have to sit all day and wonder what the fuck is going on. I know what's going on. I just spent 90 minutes with a group of people that will hold me accountable if I go off the fucking deep end, right? But on the whole, we're holding each other together. And we're saying, hey, if you're gonna be pissed about the right shit. How about they're holding immigrants in the basement of the federal building overnight in fucking LA? I would be fucking rioting too. They're holding people that they have kidnapped and trafficked in poor conditions. This is not deportation. That's not how you do deportation. Deportation is not sexy. It's not violent. It's a court case. That's why they're doing all this. It's for looks, it's for show. It's to keep you afraid. Yeah. Yeah. And you have to remember Facebook and Twitter it's all bots. It's all bots. There's so many people on Facebook that were the people that voted for Donald Trump that got off of Facebook. And then all the people that didn't support Donald Trump, they got off of Facebook. Now who's left? Bots. It's 100% bots. Absolutely. Yeah. Live videos from LA were disturbing. I mean, I guess if you're on ICE's side, I'm on people's side, and I seen them fucking running them out of town, and I'm like, hell yeah. Minneapolis, Minnesota to LA, baby. Yes, Angie. I think that I want to help you direct your anger. You know what I'm saying? Like refocus your fire, right? I'm for a 10 protest. I am for protest, boycott, and strike. A lot of people this whole time, one of the main reasons people won't participate in protests is because I said there's not organized daily protest. And unless we're willing to organize daily protest, we're not defeating this regime. And I just wanted to point out the May Day movement has a daily protest in Washington, D.C. That is a daily organized protest. Washington, D.C., our nation's capital. That meets all of you fucking naysayers' requirements, and it's happening every fucking day. Let's just say you're like, well, I don't live in Washington, D.C., Jared. Me neither. Me neither. Okay. So there's 5050.1. Okay. Here's Indivisible. Okay. Just a stream of links. No, Ans, that wasn't aimed at anyone. Me saying like this was most of like all the content I've seen created where people are like, Donald and Elon fighting is a ruse. It's about this rescission package, and it's like, let's go read the rescission package. 15 billion in cuts. That's not even a conversation. That's piss money. Because with a rescission package, not all of that is going to get cut. And so it's more like half. So now we're talking about like 7 billion. I got bigger fish to fry. When we're talking about a $4 trillion budget, $7 billion is piss money. Yep, and I have a video that I'm not posting on the internet for clout. I'll post it in the Discord for clout. But yeah, I did attend protest. I encourage you to do that. One of the things you'll do when you start poking around, for example, on the 50501 website, and let's say you're searching for more events, it's gonna take you to events poll rev, poll dash rev. Yep. And you can see June 6th, June 14th. So let's look at June 14th. And remember the whole point of all of this. The case in New York won't go forward until September 25th. Hmm. Yeah, just hey, they got a case in court that gives a legal precedent. Oh, and I want to get this out too because I read this. I read this today. I saw it on Reddit, and I want to make sure I address it before you see it. Um, I saw a post on Reddit today where again people are insinuating that Kamala Harris had an opportunity to ask for recounts during the vote counting process. And again, I just want to make sure that we are all in agreement that we did our fucking homework. We know that we have Executive Order 13848 and the Prosecution of Election Crimes document that we poured over And we realize there's a reason why the Democrats have not said a fucking word about the election, except maybe Crockett, Jasmine. She said, so, he allegedly won the election, right? She's insinuated it, right? But on the whole, Democrats have not said a fucking word about this election, nor have they pushed for a recount. And what did we do when we looked at Justice Manual Title 9, right? What was it? Dash 803 805, right? Where it says it's not on the politicians to investigate elections anymore. It's the Department of Justice's job to investigate elections. So if Kamala Harris had come out and demanded a recount, which she did in Pennsylvania, and they started a recount, they got 5% done, and they found irregularities, and it was about to be a big old deal, and they got shut the fuck down, it's because the laws had changed. The laws for elections changed. We've been sitting here the whole time saying you had to let him become president, right? We honestly thought some shit was going to pop off on election day. And here we are like 6 months in, and people are like, oh, I guess so much for all that shit. And it's like, well, Rockland, New York, that'll get you started because that goes to court, that gets any kind of nod. That's called precedent. And now every city in the United States can file that lawsuit. And we got ourselves a real problem. And that is what happens when you hold these people accountable. What happens? What happens when you say, actually, no, Don? My thing is, I think they're trying to wait till Donald Trump dies to do something. That's what I really think. I really think it's a matter of national and international security, and they know that he has such ardent supporters, however few of them there are, right? I've sat here long enough and said the problem is that he has ardent supporters in the millions, like 10. Yeah, no, he didn't. No, he didn't. And I've sat here and told you Kamala Harris should be the president of the United States. And I'm willing to bet if you look at all them other little Democrats that won all their shit too, I'm willing to bet you only like one of them actually won their election. hmm So I get it. Man, it sucks right now. But I'm looking at look what happened in Minneapolis and LA where those communities rebuked ICE. And again, I keep using that word precedent, but when you have like when you're motivated because somebody else did some shit you wish you had the balls to do, makes it a lot easier when you've seen it, right? I just want to point out the Pentagon hasn't approved this request. That's something to be pissed about right there. Yep. Yep. Andrew Whitaker, the head of DHS, requested 20,000 troops for assistance in locating fugitives. Pentagon hasn't approved the request. I don't expect them to. You want to be pissed about something? That's something to be pissed about. Okay. And again, be pissed about all of it, but it's more helpful for you. It'll help you. Yeah. Remember, um, if you were in the military and you had good leadership, there's no way you come out conservative. But there's something going on in Fort Bragg. When you think about the Flynn's, Tulsi Gabbard, who else that's a major fuck up that was in the army? My former boss. Yeah, I know he's just trying to protect his retirement, but his company that he worked for committed billions of dollars in wire fraud. I'm still pissed about that. And they didn't get away with it. That's the thing. Dina, Dina said, is there any end in sight? To be completely honest with you, one of the things that you've got to realize as you get older is that violence is actually on the downswing. Crime is on the downswing. Has been. Crime has been decreasing. Obviously, this white collar crime hits different, but on the whole, violence is on the way down, crime's on the way down. It's so now every bit of it's gonna get thrown into the limelight. Hmm. That's something you just got to realize, and it makes it a lot easier. And it also, you can't possibly do anything about all of this, but it is important to know what is actually happening in the world. And it's important that if you feel helpless, that you understand that we've got a community on Discord. We just share additional links and banter and bullshit with Bob mostly. But we've been here for 90 minutes. I threw you a little eat the rich. Get out of there on Clapper. 1,500 unique viewers on Clapper is a ton. Is a ton. Okay. If you have time, join a union. Okay. Take action. It starts with get rid of Facebook, Threads, IG, Messenger, WhatsApp, Twitter. Get rid of all that shit.